Here is our sodium metal. So you might remember from year 8 that sodium metal is stored in oil. So think about its reactivity and why it's stored in oil there. So we have a white looking solid there at the moment. So you can see the oil seeping off there. What I'm going to do now is cut this so that you can see a fresh surface there. Let me see if I can hold that up for you. Okay, so can we now see that that is a silvery shiny surface that we'd expect of metals there. So you can also think about what's happened to the outside bits that have made them go dull. And if I cut another piece again, so I've got quite a blunt scalpel here, so cutting that is pretty easy. Okay, so it's a bit like cutting a hard cheese, so maybe cutting a block of cheddar or something like that. So that's the kind of pressure I'm needing as we go through there. So note down your observations of the appearance there. So we have a metal, so you can think about its conductivity. And have a think as well about how much heat energy I'm going to have to put in to melt that. And so you can link that in then with the melting point and the boiling point. So this is a piece of magnesium, so a nice coil here. So it's solid there. It's quite hard to cut. You can cut through these thin pieces with a pair of scissors. So if we can jot down the appearance, and if it's going to be a solid metal there, what do we think about the melting point? And what do we think about conducting electricity as well? So this is a piece of aluminium. So aluminium foil, that's what we have in our kitchen foil. Okay, so this is a very thin piece, so this would be reasonably easy to cut with scissors, but if you're going to have a thicker piece, aluminium is a very strong metal. Okay, so observations down there too, please. So this is our silicon inside here, so we can hear it's solid there. We have a look inside. It's a very shiny appearance there. So a shiny, darker grey solid there. So think about what that tells you about the melting point. Is it going to be very high or very low? What can we conclude there? So our next one is sulfur. So sulfur is a solid, it's in a powder form here. So what can we say here about the colour? So write down your observation there. Then we can heat some sulfur and have a look at how easily it changes state. So we have our sulfur here. We're going to heat it in something called a deflagrating spoon. Let me make sure you can see it. Can we see the change very easily there? Turning into a liquid with minimal heating. So what could we conclude there about the melting point of our sulfur? Here we have our gas jar of chlorine. Okay, so we can have a look at the colour against the white background there. So chlorine is going to be a pale green gas. So we could have a think about what we expect its melting point to be. Is it a high or a low melting point? And then from the periodic table, is it a metal or a non-metal? And do we think gas is going to conduct electricity? This is our gas jar of argon. So what do we think there? Any colour? And what are we going to observe if we think it hasn't got a colour there?